So on exports, India is exporting to 85 countries.
Yeah.
Do you think that this makes traditional exporters of defense equipment, like say the US, Europe, or the other countries, a little
Chinese.
nervous? The Chinese, does it make them nervous that here's a new supplier now in the market, and our exports, that is India's exports, come with no strings tied? So does that make it difficult for them, and is that the reason for increased isolation of India in the world?
And sir, adding to this, sir, now in recent conflict, our indigenous weapons have performed very well, like the Akash and the MR-SAM, BrahMos. So, is there a demand for them? And do you think they are now we will be directly in competition with the US and Chinese and countries which are friendly to us?
Yeah, so on the first part about isolation, I don't agree at all. I mean, you've seen the Prime Minister, he's just been to G7. He dropped off in a couple of countries. The kind of reception he's getting, there's no isolation at all, quite on the contrary. But this is a period of geopolitical turmoil, and a lot of transactional kind of things are going on. I'm sure India will be able to more than hold its own in terms of its clout with foreign countries. On the issue of whether we are
competing with
in
Chinese,
terms of competition,
American,
I don't think. I mean, see, we've had a 30x increase in our defense exports from about 14 years ago to about, I think last year rather, it was 23,000 odd crores. Target is to take it to 50,000 crores by 29, which I'm very confident we'll meet given the rate of growth that we are seeing. Also, the geopolitical conflicts, it obviously generates demand. Whether that will lead to it becoming a threat for the others, I mean, that's a little further off, because with all this increase, we are still about 2% of global arms trade. So, I mean, once we start sending these complex systems like BrahMos in larger numbers, right now we have only one buyer. If we get several more, when we start selling more of the artillery pieces where we now have good maturity and a good manufacturing ecosystem. Armored vehicles, again, good system, we can probably do more. But those are smaller numbers. The big ticket items are the missiles, the various types of aerial platforms. Once we start cracking the market in those areas is when people will start getting threatened. So, some way off, but I think there's no doubt that because you are 2%, there's also a lot of headroom in terms of how fast you can grow. So, with the proven capability of our platforms, whether it is multi-barrel rocket launchers, although, I mean, that's already a very robust platform. It wasn't used, but there is a lot of sort of inquiries about that.
The Pinaka,
all kinds of armored vehicles, artillery, again, very proven system, entirely indigenous, ATAGs. All of these will find good buyers. And as I said, with 2% share, there's a lot of room to grow. But it's some way off where before we can start saying that our exports are threatening the traditional large exporters.
Any like 3, 4 or 5 equipment that India has, and you can name, you can talk about them as potential big export, which have big export potential, sir.
Definitely BrahMos and Akash, everybody is talking about. ATAGs, again, it's already well established. Bharat Forge also has some other orders for a towed gun system, which again will, I'm sure, find good markets. Our small arms, again, a lot of fairly large number of manufacturers with good quality technology. Some in DRDO, some through transfer technology from foreign OEMs have been set up in India. So in all of these areas, we will find a lot of markets. And finally, of course, we have a lot of good capacity in terms of ammunition of different types, particularly the 155mm shells that everybody is seeking because of the ongoing conflicts.
A lot of European countries.
A lot of our exports. In fact, our exports by our public sector units picked up by almost 40% last year, whereas the private sector, which contributes 70% of our exports, grew at just below 10%. So yes, that huge demand for munitions because of the ongoing conflicts, all those are essentially adding some wings to our exports. But it's a long way to go, I would say.
do subscribe to the ANI Clips channel to get shorter versions of this podcast. Click here to watch the full episode.